Hello, everybody. My name is Cynthia Gallardo, your leading legacy lawyer, and I am so excited to be here with you today, day 5 of the Legacypreneur 5-day business health check, right? So it's all about checking your business, making sure it's okay, making sure it's healthy, and that you are legally protected. And so today, day 5, we're talking about trademarking, how a trademark can help protect and build your legacy, actually protect and preserve your legacy. That's right, your name, your tagline, slogan, and even your logo, how you can protect that from basically anybody else using it out there, right? In this world, especially the social media world. So if you think about it, and I'd like to share an experience with you, and this is a true story about a business owner who had a fantastic idea. Yes, fantastic idea. And she was so excited about her idea. She put it on paper. She started rolling things out, and she decided to share it with somebody. Right. And that was sharing it with somebody as part of, maybe I would say, a collaboration, right? But still the idea being the original person, but there was no non-disclosure agreement signed at that point. So what happened is the other individual utilized that information without even getting permission to be able to do so. Definitely have your brand, your logo, your baby, right? Your business protected. Earlier in the Legacypreneur Challenge, we talked about building the right foundation, having your business formation set up correctly from the beginning to save you money now and into the future, right? That generational wealth that we talk about. So that's step 1. Then step 2 is making sure you protect and preserve your legacy. So I'll go through some information, but if there's any questions out there, just let me know. I'm here to help you in any way I can as your leading legacy lawyer. That's right. It's like having an attorney or lawyer in your pocket. So let's go ahead and get started. So for the next 30 to 45 minutes, or actually it'll only be about 20 minutes today, I'm giving you a little bit of time back. I live in Louisiana. We have a phrase here, a word that's called lagniappe. And lagniappe means that little bit extra, or like the baker's dozen. So today I'm giving you a little bit extra in the sense of some time back today. So it'll be only about 20 minutes. And I want to share with you how to protect and preserve your legacy with a trademark. And when I say legacy or legacypreneur, I want you to think about you being that entrepreneur or that intrapreneur, right? Working for another corporation or another business, but having that skill set as an entrepreneur, plus your legacy, that makes you a legacypreneur. So I'm so passionate about helping legacypreneurs build and protect and preserve their legacy. So today's like having a personal legal consultation right here in front of you. And I want you to be able to answer the question, is a trademark right for you? And then you'll have an opportunity to book a free strategy session based on your specific brand, logo, tagline, slogan, so that we can create a trademark strategy plan for you specifically. And then if there's any questions at the end, I'd be more than happy to answer those for you as well. So I do want to let you know this is being recorded, just for those of you out there, and we will be able to get you a link so that you'll have access to this later in case we'll have a transcript for it, as well as if you're not taking notes, that's fantastic too. So you are in the right place if you've heard you need a trademark, but you aren't sure where to start. You're curious how long the process will take and what's involved. And you're wondering why you just can't do your own trademark online. Well, I can tell you, you can do your own trademark online, yet just like with anything in life, you may not have time to do it yourself online. I will tell you, the USPTO.gov, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, they have fantastic trademark boot camps out there, yet they do take time. So I'm a big proponent of saving time, finding somebody who's an expert in that area to assist you and getting it done right the first time. And you can utilize your time to spend on other things that you love doing. So let's talk a little bit more here. I'm going to reintroduce myself. I'm Cynthia Gallardo, your leading legacy lawyer. I'm also author, speaker, business strategist, and I have my contact information here on the screen. Basically, you can reach me at Cynthia Gallardo Legacy on Instagram, and then also my website is cynthiagallardo.com. So if you have any questions, I'm always here to assist you. I definitely want to make sure we continue the communication, right? It's all about two-way communication. So here are just some of the, I guess you could say, the confirmation that this is what I work in, this is what I'm passionate about, and that I do have the backing or the credentials to go with it. So I am barred in the state of Louisiana, and trademark law is a federal law, so I can help in anywhere in the United States and even provide international support as well when it comes to trademarks. So I'd like to always share this particular, I guess you could call it like a table here, a chart, because you know what? This is great in laying out what a trademark is, what a copyright is, and what a patent is. And all this is based on your intellectual property. Today will focus on just the trademark piece, yet I also do assist with copywriting as well. But for today with the trademark, basically, this is taken directly from the USPTO.gov. So I definitely want to give credit where credit is due. So what's legally protected? As I mentioned before, it's a word, phrase, design, or a combination that identifies your goods or services, and it distinguishes you from other goods or services, and it indicates that you're the source of your good or your service. So bottom line, it's a way to protect your name, your brand name, or your name for your business, your baby, right? Your business is your baby, a tagline slogan that you utilize, and also a logo that goes along with that. So I always give the example of Coca-Cola. Of course, any big names out there, Coca-Cola, Amazon, Facebook, now Meta, think about McDonald's, Burger King, all those restaurants out there, those products that you see, the services provided, those are trademarked and they're protected so that no other individuals or businesses in that same industry or class can utilize that name. So that's exactly what I want to do for those that I work with, to be able to protect their name, their brand, their name, their tagline slogan, and also their logo in a particular industry that they work in. So for example, there's many authors out there to be able to trademark or protect the name, and then also copywriting their information. But also we go back to those individuals who are business strategists, those who are coaches, those who are out there leading individuals. So that's really what I work to do, is making sure that you as a legacypreneur can protect and preserve your legacy. So what does it do? Just some other benefits regarding that. It protects the trademark from being registered by others without permission, and helping you prevent others from using a trademark that is similar to yours with related goods or services. You definitely don't want the audience out there to get confused with other trademarks and think maybe they're purchasing or getting a service from another company thinking it's actually your company. And so that's where cease and desist letters come in, or or there's some type of infringement that we can prevent from happening. So now I'd just like to talk about some common objections that are out there. So a lot of people may say, well, I'm registered in my state already, or I just started my business, or I don't have enough money to need it. And I always go back to this. Think about McDonald's. It started somewhere. In fact, there's a movie about that. Think about Burger King. Think about Nike. Think about all those big businesses. They all started somewhere. And that's what I always stress to entrepreneurs, to legacypreneurs, that you getting started today is the right time to set that foundation and protect and preserve your legacy so that no other individual or business is able to utilize that. And then also, I just started my business, as I mentioned, every business just started at some point. Everyone has a beginning point. And a lot of people do get confused or think, well, I'm registered with my states. For example, I'm in Louisiana. I've registered my businesses with the Secretary of State in Louisiana. So I'm good. I'm protected. Actually, you're not, because that name can still be utilized in anywhere else in the other 49 United States. And that name can also be utilized, can be trademarked if you don't have it trademarked. So I always let individuals know, protect it on a federal perspective. And then I don't have enough money to need it. You actually don't need money to need it, because like I said before, it goes back to every business starts at some point. So protect it now so that you can have that peace of mind. Now, I will tell you this also, as your leading legacy lawyer, I never want to pressure anyone to think they have to get a trademark now. Yet, that's where the strategy plan comes into play, to determine when is the best time to protect and preserve your legacy. So what's the risk to you and your legacy if you don't have a trademark? There's a huge risk, because as I mentioned before, somebody else can like your idea. And if you don't have a trademark, because it's first come, first serve with the USPTO.gov office, then somebody else can put that application in and have rights or access, legal right to utilizing that name in that particular industry or class that they utilize. So I always give the example of Burger King. So most of us know Burger King, right, as a Whopper. It has that great taste to the hamburger. Well, Burger King actually started out, in case you didn't know, as a small mom and pop restaurant. That small mom and pop restaurant had the name Burger King in a specific geographic location. And then another corporation, a bigger company, opened up something similar with the same name, a restaurant, a fast food chain with the name Burger King, because that's a great name. You're the king of the burgers, right? So in this particular case, the other company opened up a business with that name, Burger King. They actually submitted their application first to the trademark office. And once it went through and was registered, they were able to make sure or send out cease and desist letters, go to court, make sure nobody else was able to utilize that name. So think about the first mom and pop Burger King who never submitted their application. Well, that particular Burger King did have a right to stand on for their geographic location because they use that name first. Yet think about all the other areas that they weren't protected in. And that's what I want to make sure that you as a legacypreneur understand. Sure, you may have used it first in a particular area, yet you want to make sure you protect it in so many other areas out there in all the United States. So that's why I always stress making sure you are the first to submit that trademark application. Now, what are the goals of trademarking? Well, it's taking that word, as I mentioned, a phrase, that tagline, slogan, or a combination of that in your logo and protecting it, making sure that nobody else can utilize that. And it distinguishes you from other goods or services in that particular industry. And think about it, having a trademark next to your name, that TM. So I always ask, got TM? Because that TM can add so much credibility. And then when you take it to the next step and have it actually registered with the federal government, that's like that birth certificate for your baby, for your business. You have that R with the circle, just like Coca-Cola, just like McDonald's, just like Amazon, just like all those huge corporations out there. And you are protected and add that credibility to your business, to your name. So that's something that I definitely want you to be able to do. And then think about it as you think about generational, right? You pass on your values and your deals as part of that intellectual property, and it adds value to your intellectual property as well. Think about long-term, if you decide to sell your business at some point, well, by having that intellectual capital protected with that trademark, I can guarantee you it will add value to your business. So to think about that as you really project or think about your strategy plan as you move forward with developing your business. So there's 5 simple steps or trademark steps that I talk about. I'm one who I like to see the big picture first, and then I kind of dig into the details. So I always like individuals to know, and legacypreneurs know what steps are involved. So first, you name your business, your product or service, which I know you most likely already have done, and you're already utilizing that in the industry. You identify the trademark to protect. And remember, 3 things you can protect as a trademark, or 3 general things you can protect as a trademark: your name, tagline, slogan, and then also your logo. And each of those requires separate application, yet those 3 should be protected in the particular industry or class that you're working in. We conduct a search, and there is a free search that can be done on the trademark uspto.gov site. And if you want one, a deeper one, I can definitely assist with that, what I call a comprehensive search for you. Then once you go through that process, you identify that, oh, well, you know what? I can submit my application. Then you can submit it yourself, or I can work with you through the process. The trademark application is submitted. And then once it's registered, it goes through the process. Right now, after COVID, it's about, it used to be about an 8 to 10. Now it's taken about, I would say 12 to 14 months to go through the process. You get the final registration certificate, and that's where you can maintain and enforce your rights. And we celebrate at that point. Celebrate. But I always like to stress to individuals, it goes back to your trademark strategy plan. Just like you have a wealth strategy plan, just like you have a financial strategy plan, you have a health strategy plan, all those strategy plans come into play. Trademarking or protecting your legacy should be one of those as well. So do you have a trademark strategy plan? Or like I like to ask, do you have TM? You might think you have one, but do you really have one? So remember, if you've registered with Secretary of State, that's not enough. That's not it's considered part of your part of being trademarked. That's basically having something with the Secretary of State. You are protected in your state up to a certain point. And then the state registration is not enough, as I mentioned. Federal protection is critical to protect and preserve your legacy. So just by doing nothing means you may have a specific geographic priorities I mentioned with Burger King, but not a national legal right. And that's what we want to do, is make sure you have that national legal right and that you're adding value to what you've already established. And I always tell people, I know I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a legacypreneur. We spend a lot of time, money, blood, sweat. I will say sweat and tears when it comes to building our business. And you want to make sure that somebody else can't come and take that from you. So please, please make sure you are protecting and preserving your legacy. So the default plan is basically having no plan in place. Someone, like I said, can take your ideas, your legacy. You are protecting your business, your legacy with limited tools. I'm giving you the tools, additional resources that will help you protect and preserve that legacy. And then you also wouldn't be thinking as a visionary. You wouldn't be thinking about those future payouts that I mentioned to you earlier. So it's really important to think about it now, and then also how it can impact you and your legacy in the future. So the trademark process, I already talked about the 5 steps to basically submit the application, et cetera, and then getting up to the certification part. So this is the 5-step process once you've submitted the application. So as I mentioned, 5 steps, simple steps. File the trademark application. That's step 1. USPTO examines the mark. What that means is they assign it to a USPTO attorney who examines that mark, looks at the application, making sure there's nothing missing. And usually there is something that they will come back with as far as what we call an office action or an administrative office action. You have 6 months to respond to that. If you do not respond within the time frame, your application is considered abandoned. So I definitely encourage you, if you submit an application, make sure you follow up with the USPTO office. And then at that point, if you haven't done the due diligence research and you submit the application and there's one that's very similarly situated to your name, your tagline, slogan, or your logo, then it can be refused. And you do still have a 6-month time period to respond, but those are a little more of a challenge to be able to overcome. But it is possible to overcome those. Then the USPTO publishes the mark, and that's basically a time period where other individuals will be able. It's called an opposition period. Others will be able to take a look at that mark and oppose it once it's being submitted, and let the USPTO.gov office know, you know what, I don't agree with this. I want you to look at this again. It's infringing on what I already have established. So it's that opposition period that's out there. And I always liken it like to a wedding, the wife and the husband and the wife are up at the altar, and they say, they always ask, is there anybody out there who thinks this wedding should not take place? So that's what's happening here. It's that opposition period for the mark or your tagline, slogan, or your name. Then you get to the 4th step. USPTO issues what we call a notice of allowance. And this is a period that it basically letting you know, run free. You're in the law. You're basically light at the end of the tunnel, able to utilize that name with that TM freely and proudly. And then what's coming next will be the USPTO registers the mark officially. You get a registration certificate, and then you can convert or go from TM to using the R with the circle. That's a huge, exciting time to celebrate. I guarantee you it's an amazing, amazing feeling. And that's where I want to get with everybody I work with. You're able to utilize that name, tagline or slogan, and also that logo with the R with the circle. Think how much credibility is added at that point. I can't stress that enough, how it helps in so many ways. And then, so I always ask people, what are your options at this point? Where do you go from here? And I like to point this out because, you go to Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors, and of course that's registered as well, all those type of things. But here you basically have 2 options. It's really easy. Either you don't file a trademark and you continue as is, or you do file for a trademark and you protect and preserve your legacy. So 2 simple options here. Now, I'm hoping you're gearing towards of course, the trademark, right, to submit an application, because I can guarantee you do need a strategy plan. Knowledge is not enough. And we usually say, oh, knowledge is power. It can be power, but you need to take the step to move forward and protect and preserve your legacy. So you need a strategy plan. What do you need to do? How can you make it happen? When should you get started? And what's the investment to get it done right? Well, I can tell you and guarantee you that I can help you with that, because there is an investment, of course, just like with anything out there. There is time involved, of course, but it all starts with what you're doing today. So I commend you. Give yourselves a pat on the back for joining today, because you're attending what we call a class or a webinar or masterclass to give you a general idea of what a trademark is and how it can protect and preserve your legacy. Then you can sit down with me as your legacy lawyer, and we can talk about having a trademark strategy plan and creating your specific strategy plan for your particular business. Then we would submit the application information. Then you would submit that to me, and it's all done virtually or digitally. And then I would submit the application on your behalf as your attorney. And then progress is communicated throughout that process. And once we get to that last stage, we can celebrate the registration, right? When you have that certificate in hand, you can hold it up proudly and say, I have it, I've done it. Convert that TM to an R with the circle. That's a huge celebration point for you and a milestone in your business process. So let's talk about cost. What's the cost of failing to plan? And I can guarantee you, I will only recommend planning for a particular amount or a particular bundle if that amount will be saved. And that planning is, so for example, if the time and energy you put into it and the money that you put into it and the investment is a long-term value to you, that's the only time I'll recommend anything to you. I can guarantee you, if you don't need it, I'll let you know. If you do need it, I'll let you know. And then, like I said, we'll work from point A and get you to the point of registration. So your next step now is booking a trademark strategy planning session with me, and I will be able to find out exactly what you're looking for, what you need, and I can give you suggestions. So how do you do that? You go to www.freestrategycallwithcynthia.com, and you'll notice there on the screen, www.freestrategycallwithcynthia.com, and you can sign up. It'll take you to my calendar, and you can sign up with me for a 30-minute session, or if you think we need an hour, that's fine as well. We'll sit down and we'll go through your specific needs for you as a Legacypreneur strategy plan. So if you have any questions for me or need anything, please let me know. You can reach out to me at Cynthia@CynthiaGallardo.com. You can reach out to me on my calling me, or you can also go to @CynthiaGallardo on Instagram, and I can contact you via those methods or mechanisms. So I do want to say I am so grateful. Thank you so much. I want to just give a shout out to Beverly. Thanks for being on the call today. I really appreciate you. And for those of you who are listening in, please keep in mind, you have a legacy. You are a legacypreneur. Head up high, right? That's something to be proud of. And so making sure you're taking the right steps to protect and preserve your legacy. So at this point, I will sign off as Cynthia Gallardo, your leading legacy lawyer. And I look forward and really look forward to being able to be that guide or GPS with you and for you as you maneuver through this process. Thank you all. Have a great day. And I appreciate you listening in today. Bye.